This video is an overview of the honey bee's legs. The bee's legs are equipped with a wide range of tools. This overview looks at the basic structure of the legs, the segments, the muscles, and some of the specific tools. All three castes, queen, drone and worker, have the same structure for their legs, and all three legs, front, middle and back, have the same segments, although their details differ. A typical insect leg has 6 basic segments. However, in the bee, one of these, the tarsus, is further divided into 4 parts, meaning that the honeybee leg has 9 segments altogether, from the body to the ground. These segments are the coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia, basitarsus, 3 tarsomeres, and the pretarsus or foot. The first of these segments, the coxa, is a small segment which is hinged directly to the thorax. It pivots by 2 articulations, and the axis between these 2 points is transverse, so that the coxa basically swings forwards and backwards. In anatomical terms, these are referred to as promotion and remotion. The axis of the middle leg is angled slightly backwards, and of the rear leg even more backwards, so that when the coxa swings forward, it also swings outward. So the movement of the coxa is responsible for the forward and backward movement of each of the legs. The next segment is the trochanter. This is also a fairly short segment and articulates at 2 points, known anatomically as a dicondylic joint. The axis of this joint is horizontal, so that the trochanter swings up and down with respect to the coxa. It is this joint which is responsible for the upward and downward movement of the leg as a whole. The trochanter is then jointed to the femur. The femur is generally the larger segment in an insect leg. The joint between the trochanter and the femur is long and diagonal, with articulations at the top and the bottom. These articulations allow a small amount of forward and backward movement at this joint, but no upward or downward movement, so that effectively the trochanter and the femur largely move as one unit. The next segment is the tibia, which is jointed to the femur at a large joint which could be considered as the bee's knee. At this point the tibia points downwards with respect to its joint with the femur. The tibia of the rear leg is quite different in shape to that of the other 2 legs. The tibia is also the last segment to contain muscles. All segments from this point onwards are controlled by a single tendon, known as the unguitractor tendon. This is operated by 2 muscles, one in the femur and one in the tibia, which both pull on the same tendon, responsible for all movements after the basitarsus. The basitarsus is the next segment after the tibia. It only has a single point of articulation with the tibia, a monocondylic joint. The basitarsus does not have any muscles within it, but has the unguitractor tendon running through it to the next 3 segments. These are the smallest segments, the tarsomeres. Each of these has a monocondylic joint with the next. The final segment is the pretarsus or foot. This contains the gland which produces footprint odour, known as the Arnhart gland, and also has 2 claws or unguis, and the adhesive pad, the aerolium. If we look at the foot itself, at the top of the pretarsus, towards the front of the cuticle, are 2 knobs onto which are articulated the 2 claws or unguis. Between these is a plate of cuticle known as a manubrium, which attaches at its lower end to the aerolium. This is the adhesive pad. The movements of the unguis and aerolium will be described in a subsequent video. The aerolium has sufficient adhesive force on smooth surfaces for a bee to hang upside down by its feet and to bear the weight of other bees hanging from it. Although the queen and the drone do not need the specialized functions for pollen gathering, nevertheless the shapes of their legs are very similar to those of the worker. That concludes this overview of the anatomy of the honeybee's legs. This video is one of a series of bee anatomy videos. Further details are available on this website or in the book Understanding Bee Anatomy, a full color guide.